Hello and a very warm welcome. Today we're going to dive into a short but honestly an incredibly profound passage from the Quran. We're looking at Surah Yunus verses 61 through 70. And what's so powerful about this passage is that it lays out two very different paths you can walk in life, and they lead to two very, very different places. So let's explore what those paths look like together. So to get us started, I want to kick things off with a big question. It's something I think all of us think about at some point or another. Are we ever really completely alone? In what we do, what we say, or even in our deepest thoughts? Well, this passage starts by answering that question with a crystal clear no. This line right here, from the very first verse we're looking at, it just sets the whole stage. It gives us this foundational concept of absolute divine awareness. And I mean, just think about the scale of that for a second. An atom's weight. Anything smaller than that, nothing, and I mean nothing, is missed. It's kind of mind-boggling when you really let it sink in. And this idea leads us right into our first major theme, the unseen witness. The passage makes it super clear that this isn't just some passive observation. Nope, there's a perfect, constant system of record-keeping happening all the time. So what does that actually mean for us, day to day? Well, the implication is huge. This idea of a clear register, it's not some abstract concept way up in the clouds. It's a powerful personal reminder of our own accountability. It's this idea that, yeah, we might have privacy from each other, but there's no hiding from this ultimate divine accounting. Every single thing we do matters. Okay, so once we've established that everything, and I mean everything, is witnessed, the text then introduces us to the first of the two paths. It describes this really special group of people. They're called the Awliyā, which means the friends of God, and they walk a path of genuine faith and piety. So who are these friends of God? Well, the text defines them really simply. They are the close allies of God. They're people who bring together sincere belief with a righteous way of life. It's a title that speaks of honor, closeness, and a really special relationship. And the Qur'an is super specific about how a person gets to this level. It basically boils it all down to two core qualities that have to work together. First, you have true belief, or īmān, and second, you have this conscious piety, this awareness of God in your life, which is known as taqwā. See, it's not just about belief alone. It's about a belief that really changes how you live your life. And for the people who walk this path, wow. The promise is one of just profound inner peace. The text says that fear and grief will be removed from them. And it talks about getting glad tidings, or good news, not just in the next life, but right here, in this worldly life too. It's a picture of complete and total spiritual security. And just in case there's any doubt about this reward, the passage says it loud and clear. There is no change in the words of God. This promise, it's set in stone. It's unchanging. And achieving this state is called the Great Attainment. I mean, that's the ultimate success right there. All right, so we've seen the first path. Now, the passage does a complete 180 and shows us the total opposite. If the first path is all about belief and piety, the second one, this one is defined by falsehood and lies, especially when it comes to God. And the warning here is, well, it's about as blunt as it gets. The text says the people who make up lies about God, fabricating things or giving him attributes that aren't true, they just will not succeed, period. It's presented as a moral absolute, a path that leads straight to failure. And this right here is the heart of the matter, isn't it? It's the core conflict. The path of falsehood? Sure, it might offer some brief, temporary enjoyment of worldly things, but that's put up directly against the path of piety, which promises lasting, glad tidings in this life and the next. The choice is framed so clearly. It's the fleeting versus the eternal. The passage really wants us to understand that any worldly success for people on the wrong path is just a short-term illusion. The text is basically saying, hey, don't be fooled. Their enjoyment is just for a little while, and then they return to God, where they're going to face a severe accounting for their disbelief. So that worldly success, it's definitely not the final report card. And to really drive this whole point home, the Qur'an asks this incredibly simple but really deep rhetorical question. The answer is obvious, right? No one. It's like an anchor for the whole argument, reminding us that God's promises of reward and his warnings of punishment are 100% reliable. They will happen. So after all that, what's the big takeaway? The passage isn't just describing things, it's presenting us with the ultimate choice. It's asking a direct question about what we truly value and where we're going to place our trust. I mean, when you put these two paths right next to each other, the difference is just night and day. It all starts with that one core action. Is your life rooted in belief and awareness of God, or is it rooted in making up untruths? And from that one single difference, everything else just flows. From temporary fun versus real contentment in this life, all the way to the final outcome in the next. At the end of the day, it's all about getting our priorities straight. The passage wraps up with this final lesson. When you really weigh it all out, the fun and enjoyment of this worldly life, it's small, it's fleeting. The real, lasting good, the hereafter, is way better for those who take the time to build that consciousness of God. And finally, the passage gives us a number, a simple but incredibly powerful number: 0. What's that? It's the amount you will ever be wronged or cheated out of what you're due. It's a promise of perfect, absolute justice. Every good thing will be rewarded, and every bad thing will be accounted for. The final balance will be exact and totally fair. And so, we end right where the passage leaves us, with a choice that's presented like a clear-eyed calculation. It's not just about faith, it's a question of value. It asks each of us to look at our own lives and decide which path is actually the better investment. The one that pays off for a little while right now, or the one that yields a reward that lasts forever. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this.